and respect what you're doing, and I can confidently say that everyone here feels the same. So I'm going to open the floor to you for 5, 6 minutes while you share, what's on your mind today. And we just love you, and we really appreciate you taking out the time to be here, because I know you have a march this evening going on, and I just want to say, take the floor, and we really appreciate you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Miss Janet. Hello, congregation. How's everyone doing this Sunday?
Okay. Fine, thank you.
Great.
I'm doing all
Doing
right.
well.
Good. I also want to say that before I go into what I'm gonna go into, to reiterate what was said earlier, that that there is a change coming, and I know that we all felt it. Everything that's happened within the past week or since January 1st, it
Mhm.
seems like our whole entire life as we know it has been flipped upside down. But don't take this as a curse, take it as a blessing. It was supposed to happen. Maybe 2020 is the year in which we will witness real structural change, whether that would be in our political lives, in our spiritual lives, in our personal lives. Something is coming, and we just got to be prepared for it. And also, we're just doing the work that you all were doing when you were our age. It didn't just start with us. I wasn't around for the civil rights movement. I wasn't around for the AIDS movement. I wasn't around for women's suffrage. This is just another something that young people have decided to come together and say, look, enough is enough. You're killing our brothers and sisters. You're harassing our communities, and we've had it, even during a pandemic. Um, I'm not real. I don't want to call myself an official organizer. I have a small group of friends that I gather with sometimes to go to marches, but I really don't need anyone to go to marches. If I feel that it's in my heart that something is calling me to go down there, then I will go down there. And I have no issues doing it even during a pandemic, because yes, you're putting your life at risk by getting out there, in a big group of people, no social distancing, right? But our lives are already in danger every day that we leave the house, even when we don't leave the house, according to Breonna Taylor, right? Even your life is still in danger. Um, this is bigger than just what we witnessed last week on camera. This is a structural, systematic issue that has already been exposed because of the pandemic, but now we're seeing the ins and outs of it because we're all at home. We have nothing else to do. We're all on our phones. We're all on our laptops. And we're seeing the exact same thing at the exact same time in real time, right? And it's shocking. It's shocking because the whole world is watching at the same time. It was the most disgraceful and disgusting thing that I had to, I'm not going to say witness because I wasn't there, but that I had to see. But hey, we've been seeing this our entire lives. You guys have seen worse than I have. I'm only 23 years old. I was born in the mid 90s, right? You guys were born in a time where this stuff was normal. It was normal to just put a cross in front of somebody's house and burn it, right? It was normal to have the governor of a state say, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever, right? That was normal. That was a normal thing to hear. Nowadays, everything is coded and everything is a dog whistle. But we're smart enough to see right through that. We have social media, so we're smart enough to put pieces together. And we're smart enough to realize that, you know what, this is corrupt, but we know our rights and we know that we have rights. And regardless of how the system tries to treat us and exposing the truth, we know the truth. and we're going to spread it. So I'm either getting out there and I'm in the street, like how I met Miss Janet in the street by myself. I've had a little bit of a criticism from, some of our own people will criticize you, saying, where's the rest of them? Why are you out here by yourself? What are you doing? Don't ask me what am I doing. I'm out here doing the work. What are you doing? Besides criticizing me for being out here by myself. Yes, Black lives should matter to Black people. Don't ask me, do Black lives matter to Black people? Because it should, especially if you're Black, right? It should matter to you. So I have gotten some criticisms, but nonetheless, it's not going to stop me from, one, getting out there, and two, creating artwork. I can't remember who said this quote. I can't remember the name, but whoever said this said, the job of an artist is to reflect the times, right? So that is a good way that I can get messages across by using my expertise, what I'm good at, to spread messages. And I encourage you all, whatever your expertise is, to use that to spread the message. And I don't care what it is. It could be cooking, because I know a lot of you know how to cook way better than I do, right? I have no skills. I burn everything. Whether you guys are good public speakers, whether you are good organizers like Janet, like Miss Janet, whether you are, it doesn't matter what you're good at. It doesn't matter what you feel like you can do to put a dent in the situation, as long as you don't sit back and do nothing. Just don't sit back in silence, because that's going to keep us where we are. Nobody wants their kids, their grandkids, their great-grandkids to be marching for the same things that we have been marching for 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And I'm speaking 50, 60 years into the future. We don't want to see this 50, 60 years into the future. So that is why I'm doing the work that I'm doing, because all of our lives are in danger. And it just doesn't make any sense to just sit back and say, well, we've done all we can. Let's just be happy with what we got. No, let's not be happy with what we got. We will never be happy with what we got. We are still in a position as a community where I am 23 years old, but I can't buy a house. I can't buy my mother the house that she wanted. I can't do that. I can't get an education. I can't get a job because I don't look like Sam over there, or I don't talk like Sam over there. I don't dress like Sam, act like Sam. That's not something to accept, and we won't accept that. I know there was a quote that said, we are not our ancestors. I'm not going to say that, because we are our ancestors. We are a product of our ancestors. However, we're not going to be as dismissive or submissive as our ancestors had to be, because that's not how it has to be anymore. And the best part now is we have a lot more white allies. So we have a lot more bodies out on the front line protecting our Black bodies. And I think it's important, if you all want to take some of this and spread it to family and friends, I think it's important that we also need to talk about the issues that are going on within our own communities. Black men not protecting Black women, always degrading Black women, especially if you're dark skinned, especially if you have kinky hair, especially if you don't have the right body type, if you are above a certain age. We need to talk about the unnecessary system of incarceration that exists in our culture, right? How our Black fathers are always being taken away, and we're growing up in households where there's no father figure, or there's there's nothing wrong with single parenting. My mother raised me as a single mother, but nonetheless, you want to ask where the Black fathers are. They're either dead or they're in jail, right? We need to address that. We need to address the economic inequalities that exist, not just between Blacks and whites, but ourselves too. Our Black leaders are not doing enough. The ones that we have right now, they're not doing enough. Simply clicking on an Instagram video with a filter and talking about how it's so sad what people of color have to go through, that's not enough. You have to do the work, right?
I'm accountable.
Yeah. So I think in a way, this is the youth, and I'm saying the youth, really just anyone below 50, because that's pretty much the demographic that was out there whenever I was out there, just anyone under the age of 50. We are doing the work that our Black leaders should be doing, right? They should be out there on the front lines. They should be organizing. They should be mobilizing. They should be voting, right? We should be voting. I voted for the first time last week. And yeah, you know, I think you can start, what is it? The age that you can start voting is 18. Yeah. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing looking at myself at 18 years old, 19, 20, and not seeing a legitimate reason to be able to vote, especially since the first election that I was able to legally vote for was 2016. That was the first election I was legally able to vote for, 2016. And I felt like, well, these two candidates are garbage. You know, you have one white supremacist that's very vocal about his white supremacy. Then you have another white supremacist that likes to mask it with the fact that she's a woman and she's blue. So that should be our choice. So I sat back like most people did in 2016 and said, yeah, I'm gonna let the white people handle it, because both of these guys are garbage. They're not for me. And I look at what we have now. So I don't want us to sit back this year. I know we have, once again, two terrible choices from two mediocre white candidates that none of us are really checking for in the first place. But let's not sit back this time. Let's make sure that we exercise our rights. Let's make sure that we are looking into who exactly is not just running the country, but running our cities, running our states, because it starts locally, right? You need to make sure you know who your judges are. Make sure you know who your governor is, who your mayor is. Make sure you know all of that. Make sure you know your rights when you encounter police. If they infringe on those rights in any way, get their name, make sure they spell it correctly, right? Get their badge number. I've seen pictures and videos of them the ones that are out there right now, trying to cover up their badge numbers. No, you get their badge number. You get it. And you make sure that you look them up. You get the name of their boss, their commissioner, whatever you call them. And don't you dare write a report to the police department. Don't do it, because we already know how they function, right? They're all one club. That's a club. It's a cult. You take those names, you write down the report, and you pretend. This is gonna sound really off, but you pretend to be the angriest white woman that you can be, because we got to start going white women on this system. Okay, and I only got a couple more minutes, and I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. But these are just some things I want to leave y'all with. Know your rights. Know the law. You don't have to know it like the back of your hand, right? But you need to know enough to where if you somehow find yourself in trouble, you know how to get out of it. You know what to do when you encounter police, the modern day Ku Klux Klan, right? You know what to do when you encounter these guys. You know what to do when you're going into court and fighting this stuff. And then you make sure that you educate the people around you, not only to vote, but to also know what to do when they get into these situations. Don't just sit back and watch another cop harass another one of your brothers or sisters. You catch them on video, you get their badge number, and you ask to speak to the manager.
Mm-hmm.
You be the Karen.
Mm-hmm.
You ask to speak to the manager.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's all I wanted to say. I hope that that was empowering enough for
Yeah.
you guys. I'm going to finish getting ready because I'm getting ready to go out and have wine with a couple of girlfriends, and we're going to talk about our next move as far as what we want to do for the march this
Mm-hmm.
evening.
Mm-hmm. You know, Evan, I was even thinking last night that when after I heard the Al Green song, it would be such a great idea just to hear that song through the neighborhoods. If you guys can get a big speaker and
Yes.
just run that in the street, because it will give the voice at ease, you know, instead of no justice, no peace. Say rest a while and just let that song do the walking for you guys, you
Yeah.
know, because it just touches heart. And we just want to say we love you. I personally want to put up one of your artwork, Black Lives Matter, at my window, and I'm going to encourage the group to get a copy as well, and they can put it up in their window as well. And as you mentioned earlier, we don't have to be out there always in a group, but even like what you I saw you doing, holding up the sign, which is something I used to do when I used to work in politics. I used to be up out there holding up the sign for these politicians, which end up disappointing us anyway. But I just want to say, God bless you. We love you. We want to hear from you again, and have a great and wonderful day. So, just give him thumbs up, everybody. We love you, and be safe out there as well.